Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Fourth and Forever, your daily NFL news show only on the Roundtable Sports Network. Giant shout out to everybody that is joining us live currently on YouTube. Please smash that like button for us and also let it be known what team you are representing in the chat. If you are listening on Spotify and or Apple Music or wherever you listen to podcasts, if you are enjoying the daily show, please do us a favor and leave a rating and review. And additionally, say that you ever want to be a part of our live chat community in which we try to engage with as much as humanly possible. Certainly consider looking us up on YouTube so you can have that experience as well. So my name is Dan Mitchell, and I am joined by my good friend Richie and TD. Richie, how you doing, man? Talk to me.
I'm doing great. Weekend was awesome. Another day. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you guys had a great weekend. We got football stuff. First mock draft that we're doing together on Fourth and Forever, which is an exciting time, and a lot of fun things in the works over here at Roundtable Sports. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend, and let's get into Fourth and Forever, man.
Man, I am excited to dive into some of these topics. TD, what's going on with you, man?
I'm doing great, man. Beautiful day. It's always good meeting up with the fellas 2 p.m. Monday through Friday to talk ball because we all know ball, Richie, sometimes. But y'all hit that like button on your way in the building. Shout out to all the members of Roundtable Sports. I see Jake, the MN Sports fan, Minneapolis, I'm assuming. Member for 1 month. Salute to you, Jake. We love you, brother.
Oh, man, folks, I will tell you what, we have a great episode planned out for you today. As the title suggests, we are going to be giving you our full first round mock draft. I'd say probably about 20 minutes into the show, we do have a couple of topics, burning topics, that we have to discuss prior to launching that. So again, please smash that like button. And without further ado, let's get into the first piece of news that dropped. That TD, I thought of you immediately once I saw that Terron Armstead ended up calling it a career, right? And then all I could think about was you, number one, and then number two, that helmet meme that came out of Tua of what sort of helmet he should have wore or he should wear in 2025. And I feel that that is even more the case for Tua as you end up losing this left tackle for your organization. Now, so the thing is that he hasn't really played a lot since being a Miami Dolphin. He was very hit or miss as far as his availability. But now your offensive line looks a hell of a lot worse. From a Dolphins fan's perspective, thoughts on this?
It's still Super Bowl. No, I'm just playing. Listen, this is a major blow because we have a lot of holes that we want to fill. And, going into the offseason, we said we got to do really good in the draft. We got to hit at least on 4 starters in the draft to, bring this team to, close to still having a chance. Losing Holland, still, in some other roles that we need to fill as well. Both safety positions, obviously Holland leaving. We needed a corner opposite of Ramsey, an interior linebacker. These are 3 in a guard. Those are the 4 areas where we're like, okay, we got to hit these in the draft. And I'm talking about after free agency. But this was all assuming Calais Campbell's coming back, Armstead's coming back. We hope they do. And then we got to hit 4 players in the draft, which is already hard. And when we got the news, Calais Campbell, Arizona, oh my gosh, whole draft plans switched. We need to, now the draft plan, we need to get a defensive tackle at 13. But when this Terron Armstead information hit, massive blow on top of that, because now the Dolphins have to decide, do you get a bookend left tackle at 13, which would be available potentially? But you just drafted Patrick Paul in the 2nd round last year at left tackle. We don't know if he's ready yet. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, they're putting these highlights out there of some good plays from him last year, and people aren't looking at all the plays. He's not. I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's ready. But they may be going with them anyway. So we're going into the season, even if they went in the draft and got another O-lineman, this O-line is, we don't know what to expect this year. And this is a massive blow for the Miami Dolphins. Armstead and Calais Campbell retiring. And the reality is this is the last year Miami has any hope. And it doesn't even look good. I mean, because Tyreek is gone next year. High probability of that. Jonnu Smith, high probability he's gone. Jalen Ramsey, there's a high probability he's probably gone. Bradley Chubb, I'm certain he'll be gone next year. This whole rebuild and everything is over next year. And this year, it's already starting out rough in free agency with this team to put a roster together. So, yeah, we'll make some moves in the draft. But when you look at it holistically, there's nothing we can do in the draft that's going to say, oh, yeah, we're a better team now. Absolutely nothing. It doesn't matter if you were able to get two of the top players in the draft. It still isn't going to say it's over unless it's quarterback. You know, it might be different. But I'm one that believes Miami needs to recognize what's happening right now, lick their wounds, trade Tyreek Hill, trade Jalen Ramsey. If you can't talk about Loa, stack up some assets for next year. Manning time, baby. Tank for Manning.
Oh, my goodness.
Tank for Manning has officially started in Miami.
We can wait a year if we don't. We can go ahead and waste this year.
So I'll tell you what, man, I do feel like Mike McDaniel certainly feels the heat on his chair right now, especially as Armstead decides to call it a career. And then some additional rumors hearing too. Like I've seen so many articles saying what some trade packages, draft day trade packages would look like for Tyreek Hill, like going into the NFL draft here in a couple of weeks. And there's typically always a big name moved during the NFL draft. And several people are predicting that Tyreek Hill will be that transaction. Richie, thoughts on the state of the Miami Dolphins since Terron Armstead calls it a career?
You guys just hear what TD said? I ain't letting him say nothing throughout the rest of this offseason about hyping up this Miami Dolphins team, bro.
We still can make moves, Richie. We can still make moves.
Oh, yeah, where? In the draft?
I don't know, but we got to figure it out. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll try. We'll see. We'll see. Listen, man, this is the wake-up call that Miami Dolphins fans have had, that you're in purgatory. And you hear what TD just said? What do we got to do? We got to trade this player, trade that player, do this, do that, because you realize if you don't trade those players, you're going to waste the season. For example, the Jets last year tried to go all in with a roster that we felt was good enough, failed, 5 wins, right? That's what the Miami Dolphins are going to try to do right now. On paper, everything looks good. You got Jalen Ramsey, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Jalen Waddle, you got Tua if he's healthy. Yeah. Devon A-Chain, okay. But let's be honest, man. Even if you're healthy, what's the Miami Dolphins going to do this season? Your offensive line stinks. Your defensive line, I don't want to say it stinks, but it's not that great. It all starts in the trenches. So I think if you are the Dolphins, if they were a smart organization, they would blow it up. Because who are they kidding? You think that this team can compete for what? Maybe making the wild card spot and losing in the first round, and then what? Right? And if you want to make this about the Jets, that just shows your insecurity about your own team. Because this has nothing to do with the Jets. And I know I made that comparison, but at the end of the day, the Miami Dolphins are in a situation now with Terron Armstead retiring. Their biggest weakness is offensive line. And I don't understand why they keep neglecting the offensive line. Like, that is so important. So this is a big time, unfortunate news if you're Miami. And seems like this fan base is ready to tank for Manning. That's probably an interesting take.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, so I certainly haven't been seeing a lot of Dolphins fans chirping on X as of late. So I think that they all sort of agree with us that this is going to be a bit of a reset year, and this is going to be the swan song for Mike McDaniel and Tua. And I think we're going to be looking at an entire different team in 2026. Like, this is the year where everything is blown up, and then we will see the beginning of yet another rebuild in 2026.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, we're gonna be honest here. We know that our future looks grim. It doesn't look good right now. I'm not ruling us completely out. It doesn't look good. But here's the saving grace for the Dolphins. We're still gonna be better than the Jets. We're still going to be better than the Patriots. And Buffalo's falling off this year. So we still got a chance to win a division regardless of all of these
this
issues.
is what I knew. Like, see,
now,
TD gets real for a second.
I just don't think that we're going to be able to beat the other teams in other divisions in the playoffs. But we can still own this division. So
See, like, it's funny. TD gets real with you, and then you realize, like, oh, crap, I can't say these things. I can't let the Jets in the pit.
Okay, I
gotta
have
be
a
delusional
brand
over
to
again.
uphold. I have a
Two
brand to
things could
uphold.
be
I have to
true.
sprinkle in some delusion. That's what he's saying.
No. Two things could be true. We could be bad and we could struggle, but we're in the AFC East. The only threat is Buffalo, and I think they've run their course.
You said that last year, and you were wrong. I said that last year. I was wrong. I'm not going to be wrong again.
But you know what? This year it might be, though, Richie, because
oh, my God.
I
feel I'm going crazy.
Done?
How many times, Chad, have you heard TD say for the last 5 years, this year, Richie, might be different?
What has Buffalo done?
What has Miami done? You said the same thing. This year, different Super Bowl. This year, different Super Bowl. This year, different Super Bowl.
We're bringing back.
Let's not forget the injuries.
So what has Buffalo done? So we have essentially brought back the entire team that we had last year. All right.
Yeah, but that
walked
team
away with
still
the
wasn't good when you
and the
finally
Miami Dolphins
realized.
got significantly worse. So
that team wasn't good.
Really
though, Dan.
opposed to all the other moves that we made.
Just dealt with. All three of us were bad. The Patriots, the Jets, and the Dolphins. See, we made y'all look better than you actually were.
Oh, is that right? So a team that makes it to the AFC Championship made us look worse?
Yeah, but
come on, man.
Injuries. Dolphins were banged up.
Nah, TD, I'm sick of this. Honestly, you know what you are? You have a mind. You're a soft-minded fan. That's what you are. Because all you do is cry about injuries and make excuses over injuries. Grow up. Get strong. Stop making excuses. Every single football team has injuries. The best overcome it. Okay, I don't want to hear this little, oh, well, it's because we're injured. It's because we're injured. Wah, cry me a river. Have a coaching staff that can get the most out of their talent like the Detroit Lions did, who had 3 times more injuries than you and was a lot better football team. Do you hear Aaron Glenn crying that his defense was 80% on the injured reserve? Or did he go out there and get his defense go play good football? So stop crying about injuries.
You're just trying to plug Aaron Glenn.
That's just an example. If he wasn't even the Jets head coach, I would say that. I said that last year during the season before.
They had a better quarterback.
Oh, man. Well, folks, so once again, we are at odds about the AFC East. Please sound off in the live chat, in the comments section on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts, and or the replay of this YouTube video, and let us know your thoughts as we transition to another team in the AFC East. And I got to tell you, Richie, I have to tell you, I'm not sure where your thoughts are on this, but whatever reporter said this, you better hope and pray that this does not come to fruition. It makes zero sense to me. Breece Hall potentially being traded, and then you all but go and draft Ashton Jeanty as your running back. Why this doesn't make sense for a variety of reasons. Number one, how in the hell does he pull this off when he suggests the reason they are considering this is because the Jets want to transition over to a running back by committee? Why would you take the best running back in the NFL draft if that is truly what you were trying to do in the first place? And number two, you have Breece Hall under contract. His cap hit is only at around $4 million right now. I'm not sure if you're planning on shocking the world and giving Sauce Gardner / Garrett Wilson a massive contract extension this year. You still have around $19 million in cap space. If, for example, that the Jets truly want to go running back by committee, might as well keep Breece on the damn roster at this point. It makes zero sense. I still think that if Membu is staring you right at the face, if Tyler Warren is staring you right at the face, even if you do somehow walk away and trade Breece Hall, running back, especially looking at this class, is so damn deep that replacing a running back with your first overall selection would be one of the worst first moves a first-year NFL coach could make. Richie, thoughts on this rumor?
Yeah, listen, first and foremost, I'm a big advocate of Breece Hall. I would prefer the Jets keep him long-term, and I want him to break out and be our guy for the long run. But there is something, Dan, that you're missing of why he brought this up and why this could be a possibility. You bring up the cap hit for Breece Hall, but this is his contract year, which means he's not locked up long-term. So this would be flipping Breece Hall and getting your long-term answer of someone in the prime of their career on cheap control at the running back position for the next 5 years in Ashton Jeanty. So from a financial perspective, that's where it makes sense. Like a $5 million cap hit this year is cheap, but after the season's done, if Breece Hall's not in their long-term plans to extend him, then you want to get someone new in the building that they can build for the long run. And the cool thing about the running back position, it's unique. They're in the prime of their career when they get drafted. So I'm playing devil's advocate. if the Jets go this direction, you're basically replacing Brees with your long-term answer at running back right away in the draft. So I think the only way you can sell me on it is the financial reasons. But on the other side of things, I agree with everything else you said. I don't want the Jets to do this. I love Brees. I think Brees Hall, Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis is a great 3 running back room. And I feel like Brees Hall deserves an opportunity to see what he can do with the brand new run scheme with Justin Fields at quarterback. I still think he has untapped potential in his game. So it's smoke. It's a reporter coming up with a hypothetical. This is nothing saying like this is actually happening. And I think some people are running with it. I made a video on it yesterday and I said the same thing. So I don't expect this to happen. But of course, all options are on the table when you're going into the NFL draft.
All right, TD, thoughts on this? Is this something the Jets should entertain?
It isn't something they should entertain. It's something that they better do if he's on the board at their draft pick. This is the smartest thing that they can do. I mean, I don't know what you're missing here, Dan. I like Jeanty over Brees Hall right now. Like, let's call it what it is. I mean, Brees Hall is a weapon. He's a good player in this league. But there's a little more to be desired there. Jeanty has the potential of being a Saquon or Derek type back. He has the potential. I'm not saying that he is, but he has the potential. Do you think Brees Hall has that potential right now? I mean, no, I'm not saying that he wouldn't be far, but of a potential. But let's call it what it is. Jeanty is the type of running back that is the game changer that can make those big contracts because how he could potentially impact the game. From a financial standpoint, it's a no-brainer. You got to pay Sauce Gardner and still be able to keep the team rolling, and you don't even know what the quarterback situation is of the future. And you could be ending up throwing Justin Fields a $40 million a year bag after next year or so. All of these things are potential. You got to make sure that you're in a good financial position as a new regime coming in. You don't want to go through a 2 years of rebuild in the last 2 years that you get financial freedom from Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. You only got 2 more years of financial freedom, even if you sign them right now on a long-term deal.
Well, Brees is entering this last year, TD.
Exactly. But the next 2 years, even if you gave them all deals, it still isn't going to hurt your cap the next 2 years. Y'all know these new contracts, the first 2 years isn't big cap hits. So you need to go ahead and reset that running back room. You'll have a bell cow guy that you can rely on. It will be Justin Fields' best friend, knowing that he's not an elite passer. You give him time to develop in that area. You don't have to put more on his shoulders. And then on top of it, I just can't get over the financial implications. And you also get a draft pick for Brees Hall that you can use in the draft. So for a new coach and a new general manager, this is the smart thing. Financial flexibility, upgrade at the position, and a draft pick that can get you a really good, solid player. I don't know what Brees is worth right now, a third maybe, coming up on a contract. You can get you a nice, solid player with that as well. And now you have 4 years of $3-4 million a year of a contract at a running back position. 4 years of it versus keeping Brees Hall and potentially being in the teens per year, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 million a year, depending on how well he does this year. And you save that 10 plus million for the roster. It's a no-brainer. Now you're not tripping about, we got to pay Sauce, we got to pay Garrett. You got to lock those guys down before Brees right now. And resetting that running back room is the way to do it. It would be so beneficial for the Jets on all fronts. Dan, they're not winning this year anyway. Stop worrying about the committee and Brees being a Jet.
See, but here's my thing, right? Hands down, the most important thing I think that the New York Jets need to look at is that right tackle position. And what upsets me most about this Ashton Jeanty pick is that, sure, say that he was a top-heavy running back class, where it was him and maybe one other guy in the first. We are talking about running backs that extend as deep as the 4th round that are going to be, quote-unquote, generational in this class. That is everything that we have seen.
Why do we keep doing
Hampton from North Carolina would be just as good for the Jets if they wanted to wait.
No,
a Cam Scatabo would be as good as Ashton Jeanty. This is
I
what
can't
they
believe
do.
this.
They
I can't
draft.
believe this,
As
man.
good.
They draft
Listen.
Membu, right tackle, best right tackle in this draft class, because yes, you have Justin Fields. He's mobile. That's great. But they're trying to build for the future here. And
Why do we
what the
keep doing
Dolphins
this,
haven't
man?
been able to master is actually solidifying a quality offensive line to protect their QB of the future. Fields is not going to be here
Ugh.
longer than 2 years. What they
Man.
need to do is have an established offensive line for whatever quarterback they bring in eventually. And we all know, outside of the Philadelphia Eagles, outside of the Baltimore Ravens, maybe I can throw Christian McCaffrey in there. Every other team in the NFL that has had any sort of success has had a running back by committee with largely zero names right behind it. Hence why I suggest Membu, 7th overall pick, and Graham Scatabo in the 2nd if you really wanted to. If you wanted to get rid of Breece Hall, but really what they should do, keep Breece, let him play on his final year of his rookie deal. And if they are dead set on finding a Breece Hall replacement, if they don't want to extend him next offseason, revisit it in next year's draft or grab somebody
and get nothing for him. And get nothing for him. But why do we keep doing this? Because Dolphin fans do it too. Oh, we don't have to take a defensive tackle in the first round. They're loaded in this draft. Why do people keep doing this? Talking about the running backs are loaded, the defensive tackles are loaded. Ladies and gentlemen, there are players that are Saquon and Derrick Henrys of the world. Jeanty potentially could be one of those. And then there are a whole bunch of, your A-Change, your, solid backs, really good backs. The difference is in today's league, yeah, it's loaded to go get a solid back, but those backs always end up going by committee because you need more than just one. But when you got a Derrick Henry and a Saquon, it is literally a game changer. So stop making guys like Jeanty be on the same level of, there's a whole bunch of guys in this draft. Stop making the best defensive tackle in the draft look like that's like making the best defensive end look like Shamar Stewart. That's like that. Like we gotta stop this. Like there are levels to this. If it was that loaded, then we'd have a whole bunch of running backs going in the first round. How many running backs you think going in the first round, Dan? But Jeanty, two. But Jeanty is one of them. But why aren't those other ones going in the first round? Please tell me why they're not.
It's because it is the least valued position in all of the NFL.
Yeah, but if they're that
valued
good,
position in the NFL, and there's a lot of value in the depth of it.
But if they're that good, though, Dan, if they are that good,
listen, the draft by itself is a gamble. So the draft by itself is a gamble, regardless of what position that you look at. So you're going to be rolling the dice on any prospect. There's so many times
but there's higher probabilities
groups where certain running backs, certain wide receivers, certain offensive linemen, they just don't pan out, right? Like they could have great college tape, but for some reason, maybe they hit the injury bug too early, or maybe they get drafted into the wrong system. You go for a high value position rather than going for a running back that, I hate to say it, this position outside of a couple of different anomalies is a crapshoot. It is an absolute crapshoot, and it has.
But there's probabilities. In the NFL. But there's probabilities, Dan, and that's what you're ignoring. There is a higher probability right now that Jeanty will turn out to be a Derrick Henry or Saquon than the rest of those guys. It's all about probabilities. Yes, it's a crapshoot. Jeanty could come in and be the worst running back of all time, but the probability of that happening is slim to none. And that's the point. It's probability. You had to go by that in the draft, but we got to stop acting like there's 10 running backs that's just as good as Jeanty. We got to stop acting like there are 3 other quarterbacks just as good as Cam Ward. That we got to stop acting like Will Campbell. We got to stop acting like there are 10 more like him. Oh, where it's loaded through the draft. No, some of these guys are at the top for a reason, and they give you the higher probability of knowing that you're going to hit. And that's what the Jets have to do right now.
Well, Walker out of Jacksonville had a higher probability of playing than Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, but remember what we said, Dan. You're talking about the exception to the rule. It's called probability. It's not a guarantee, but it's still a higher probability.
I think the whole world was shocked that Walker went number 1 that year.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and but he shouldn't have though.
Oh, speaking
And
of Trayvon Walker,
that's the crazy part.
breaking news: picked up their 5th-year option, according to Zachary,
Mm.
which I know he doesn't never lies.
He does. He is a trusted source over here. But guys, you know
Josh
what?
Allen. There are
I
10
think
more quarterbacks
now
like him in his draft.
He's running with it.
I think now that it's a great transition to move over to the mock draft 1.0, where all three of us are going to pick a team and just go in rotation. We're going to start off with Richie with the 1st overall pick, then me with the 2nd overall pick, TD with the 3rd, and then we are going to continue the rotation until the first round mock draft is complete. I am so excited about this because we are going to make a nice little graphic. And we will be getting roasted, I could imagine, in the comment section. So please do us a favor, smash that like button, and let us show you the most accurate and football sense mock draft you have seen on the internet. I am so excited about this. Without further ado, let's begin. Richie, go ahead.
So are we doing trades?
No.
Cool.
There's no trades on this bad boy.
All right, so the Tennessee Titans are on the clock. Let's start the draft. I will be taking Cam Ward because that is who I think is going to go number 1. No doubt about it. Cam Ward's down at rank number 20. Wow, that's an easy pick. I think that's a no-brainer. Tennessee finds their potential franchise quarterback for the long run.
It's funny because you could basically etch that in stone. That is precisely what we are hearing. In fact, so I've even heard that he has canceled quite a few of his workouts / interviews with other teams because it's almost locked in that Cam Ward is a Tennessee Titan. And with Titans fans, just go on ahead and buy the jersey. It is worth it. Now, with the 2nd overall pick, and this is based off of reports that have been coming out, that it sounds like that the Cleveland Browns have once again shifted their priorities. At first, they wanted the QB, but they were hoping that Cam Ward would have fallen to 2. That is no longer the case. It was Abdul Carter, perhaps. However, I'm really buying into this. I have a feeling that they are going to go with Travis Hunter and then maybe address the quarterback situation in the 2nd round and or maybe fire off a contract to Joe Flacco. I hope that it's not Kenny Pickett season, but the Cleveland Browns are selecting Travis Hunter with the 2nd overall pick. And fun fact, I have a feeling that they might even utilize him as a wide receiver more predominantly than a corner. That's what we're hearing. TD, the Giants.
All right, man. This one is a tough one for the New York Giants. Obviously Abdul Carter is on the board. This would be a good pick for any team, but it's not one of their biggest priority needs. They also need a quarterback. And right now they bring in 2 veterans, 2 guys that are not long-term, honestly. But the problem here is there's a lot of reports saying that they may not be going for the quarterback in this draft. They may be going a different direction. Maybe they're looking at the defensive interior with Mason Graham. Maybe they're looking at, one of the best tackles in the league like Will Campbell. But, I mean, to me, they got to do what's right for the organization, and they got to go Shedeur Sanders. And that's where the Giants go in this mock draft, Shedeur Sanders.
Oh, man. Wow. Super interesting, man. A lot of the debate is going that he falls to the New Orleans Saints, but who knows? Maybe Dable rolls the dice, have Shedeur sit behind Russ Wilson for a tad.
You know, the graphic that we're going to put out there, everyone's going to clown the 3rd pick. All right, the 4th pick.
All right. Go ahead.
Now, as a Jets fan, I don't want to do this for the Patriots, but Abdul Carter staring him right in the face. Easy pick for them. I mean, in my opinion, he's the best player in this entire draft, and he deserves to be a 1st overall pick, honestly. That's how talented he is. I'm going to go Abdul Carter for the New England Patriots. He is a dynamic piece that you cannot pass on at this stage, man. Easy. New England gets Abdul Carter.
With Abdul Carter, cannot miss out on that. Oh, man, especially with a Mike Vrabel-led New England Patriots. Now it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And you know what? I could go Tet McMillan because it does appear that wide receiver is a need for them. But I think that they're going to further address the defensive line. And they have a pretty slept-on defensive line, right? Have Josh Hines Allen, you have Trayvon Walker. who, according to Zachary Berner in the chat, was just exercised his 5th-year option. I think they have to beef up the interior of their defensive line here. And I think you go for the best 3-tech defensive lineman, can create pressure in the interior side of the defensive line. I'm going to have to go Mason Graham is falling to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Say that I was the GM. That is the pick. TD, Las Vegas Raiders on the clock.
All right, right now the Raiders are on the clock and they are very mad because they wanted to look at Mason Graham. They wanted to have one of the best defensive lines in the NFL to pair him up with Christian Wilkins since the outside is already solidified. So they're not going to go back in that area at this value right now. But what they are going to do is get their new quarterback a weapon, and that's going to be McMillan out of Arizona. They're going to try to make sure that they can get this offense moving and try to get some weapons to make sure that their recent moves are not a instant failure. Let's go McMillan out of Arizona, wide receiver.
The first mock draft in NFL 2025 history with the Raiders going with McMillan. All right.
McMillan.
All right. So now the Jets are on the clock. Luckily, I get the pick for the Jets. That's great. Ashton Jeanty is there. The Jets are, I'm just kidding, not going that direction. Tyler Warren is going to be my pick. He's been my draft crush. I know there's a big debate between Tyler Warren or Armand Membu. I can get behind both. I think the Jets drafting Olufashinu last season, getting your left tackle, gave the Jets flexibility. And in my opinion, the Jets have 4 out of the 5 offensive linemen set. I'm not going to whine and be upset if we don't get a stud right tackle. I think if you can get a serviceable right tackle, the other 4 offensive linemen the Jets have on that unit will definitely be good enough to be successful. I think Tyler Warren can block, run routes, be a dynamic piece to this offense. He's exactly what this Jets team needs. We need a weapon next to Garrett Wilson, next to Breece Hall, and what a unicorn Tyler Warren is. I absolutely love him. It was a big debate between Brock Bowers last year and a left tackle. We went left tackle. Now we have an opportunity to get a tight end of the future in Tyler Warren to the New York Jets.
Oh, man. We have a couple of players that are falling significantly in this draft. Will Johnson has fallen. Ashton Jeanty has fallen as well. Oh, my God, man. Who were to think? However, now we have the Carolina Panthers. And what they need clearly is a DB, an edge rusher, and a wide receiver is what they are looking for. It appears that they are fine with their previous selection at the wide receiver position in 2024. They invested quite a bit in their offensive line the previous free agency period. So I think that they are looking for a DB that could line up opposite of J.C. Horn. And we're looking at Jahdae Barron, but I have a feeling that the pre-CB1 of this draft prior to the NFL Combine is going to be selected before. Because while he has a limited injury history, so does Barron, so does Siobhan Rebel. I think Will Johnson is going to be the safer pick here. He fits in like a glove with the overall scheme. I think that our good friend Will Johnson, you are a Carolina Panther, first CB taken off of the board, where Jahdae Barron ultimately ends up falling.
That is very interesting. But guess what? The Saints are celebrating. Even though Shadur didn't fall and they would have liked to have drafted him, they go Ashton Jeanty, running back. All right. The Saints get a weapon, a generational weapon, and they're going to be happy about that. And they're still going to be looking in this draft to potentially move up in the first for players like Jackson Dart.
What happens to Alvin Kamara, bro?
Ashton Jeanty, the future of the New Orleans Saints, man. The future of the New Orleans Saint running back. Welcome to NOLA. Chicago Bears, Richie.
Bears. Well, I think this is a very easy pick for me. I think that Chicago Bears have been prioritizing one element of their game since Ben Johnson came in here, and that's the offensive line. Armand Membu is staring them right in the face, the best right tackle in this entire draft class. I think he can come in there and be an absolute rock for the Chicago Bears. And I feel like what Ryan Poles has been doing is going after offensive lineman after offensive lineman. And I think they have a left tackle right now that's in competition, but the right tackle position for them is a little up in the air. So I'm going to go with Armand Membu for the Chicago Bears.
Membu for the Chicago Bears, as the San Francisco 49ers are now on the board at 11. Now, this is interesting because they do need a couple of answers on the offensive line. Left tackle is already set in stone for them. And we will notice that Will Campbell is a left tackle. But many reports are coming out that this gentleman right here, his arms are just not long enough to truly be a successful left tackle in this draft. Many are saying that he will eventually transition over into the guard position. I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to draft Will Campbell and transition him over to left guard to solidify the offensive line. Will Campbell, welcome to the San Francisco 49ers.
Will Campbell is the 49ers, and now them boys are on the clock. The Dallas Cowboys sitting there, and they're confused right now. They would have loved Jeanty, but now they're in the war room debating, man, do we take Hampton? Do we take Hampton? I'm going to be honest with y'all. I want to defer to you guys. Do you think Hampton is worthy of this pick?
Yes. Omarion Hampton. I think Omarion Hampton is an absolute stud. And I'm really excited to see what he can do. I think he's very slept on. Some people even have him over Ashton Jeanty on their board.
That's interesting. See, the reason why I ask is because Dallas also needs some edge help as well. And Mike Green is also a nice pickup right here, in my opinion. But I'm going to go with what they've been fiending for years now, and that's the solidified running back. So there you have it. The Dallas Cowboys will select their next star running back, hopefully, in Hampton out of North Carolina.
We have Omarion Hampton.
Wow, and I'm on the clock for the Miami Dolphins.
Which is absolutely hysterical. But something real quick on Hampton. This is 110% a Jerry Jones move right here. Since the prime Zeke years are far in the past, I feel like that this is a very realistic pick. Watch Omarion Hampton to skyrocket on draft boards during this evening. And Richie is on the clock to select for the Miami Dolphins. This is hysterical.
All right,
There's
so
only one right pick, Richie.
We're going with Jackson Dart for the Miami. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Some people will be happy about that. So I think the Miami Dolphins go a lot of different directions. I feel like the offensive line is the most, realistic for them, but unfortunately, neither Will Campbell or Armand Membu is available. And you look at the rest of the guys on the board, Josh Simmons and Kelvin Banks Jr., you can argue, right? I don't know if you want to go there at pick 13. I think you can trade down potentially, but I really like Malachi Starks for this Miami Dolphins team. I feel like that's a guy that can come in here and absolutely change the back end of their defense. Mike Green can help out that defensive line. Kenneth Grant, Josh Simmons. If you want to go the offensive tackle, you have some defensive tackles in this draft that you can really, really prioritize. And I know they definitely need some interior defensive linemen. So let's see who's available. You got Kenneth Grant, Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon, Darius Alexander. You got a lot of options for this Miami Dolphins team, right? So I think I'm going to go, TD, I'll defer to you. Would you prefer to go defensive tackle or safety if you were the Dolphins here?
I'm gonna throw a wrench in it, Richie.
Or another position.
First of all, you're right in the right position. Like the team is probably gonna go Malachi Starks or Kenneth Grant. But low key, they could take Jahdae Barron. They could take Jahdae Barron opposite Ramsey because Ramsey's gone next year, and they have to start preparing at that position for the future. And that's a big one in Miami. They've always invested in corners and edge rushers, so they could go Jahdae, but I'm going to go with the pick that I think that they may end up landing, and that's going to be Kenneth Grant here.
Kenneth Grant, you think? You know what? I'll defer to my Miami Dolphin expert and pick Kenneth Grant.
Kenneth Grant to the Miami Dolphins. All right, we have the Indianapolis Colts on the board. Holy hell, look at those needs that this team needs to address. So they could go, of course, a Malachi Starks. Wow, thank you for the zoom in right there, Richie. So they could go Malachi Starks, who is arguably the second best safety in this draft, but have Jihad Campbell, who is certainly an intriguing piece. Mike Green, who I believe is going to fall pretty significantly in this draft. I have a feeling that the Indianapolis Colts are going to select the first edge rusher that I see off of the board, and that is Donovan Ezeruku out of Boston College. Absolute terror right in the ACC conference the past couple of years. A lot of question marks surrounding Mike Green's run-stopping capabilities. This is by far a more safe pick at the edge position. Welcome to the Indianapolis Colts, Donovan Ezeruku.
And I believe that the Colts just started the run on edge rushers, and that's why Atlanta's gonna rush their ticket in for Mike Green. He may have those run stopping issues, but I think that could all be fixed up in the NFL. They're going Mike Green. They're gonna stay with the edge, keep that pressure on opposing quarterbacks in the division.
And now you got the Arizona Cardinals up next for your boy here. They can go a lot of different directions. The Arizona Cardinals drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. last year as a dynamic wide receiver. They locked up Trey McBride long-term, Kyler Murray's. I think they should go offensive line. I mean, if you're the Arizona Cardinals, you got to beef up that offensive line. I'm going to go with an interesting player here that I think will fit exactly what they're trying to do. And he's a little down here on the board, but I feel like a Greg Zabel is a really good option for them. Could be a very versatile Swiss Army knife. As you can see, played left tackle, played left guard, played even right tackle, Swiss Army knife. I really like Gray Zabel, excuse me. And that's going to be my pick for the Arizona Cardinals.
Man, look at that. And wow, I have the Cincinnati Bengals on the clock. Now, as much as I would love to say that Cincinnati is going to do the right thing here and they are going to select some defensive help, I have a feeling that they are just going to just be dumb and select an offensive weapon here. So, with that being said, you have T. Higgins on one side, you have Jamar Chase on the other, and you're missing the quality of Tyler Boyd out of the slot since he hasn't been on the team for the past 2 years. Why not go for the best slot receiver in the game in this upcoming draft class, Emeka Egbuka? Welcome to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Wow.
As much as I would love for them to grab somebody on the defensive side of the
hate
football,
pick?
nothing that they have been doing has been making sense. I'm just trying to predict that they triple down on offense whatsoever and the city of Cincinnati melts down.
That would be crazy. Extending Jamar, extending T. Higgins, and then drafting a receiver in the
Emeka
first round.
Egbuka. It doesn't make sense.
Makes
Here
no
he
sense.
is.
All right. The Seahawks here. Let's just be honest here. The priority for the Seahawks is getting some protection on that O-line for their new quarterback, which they are going to need. The only problem is there is no good value right here to get protection. So what are they going to do? I believe that this is going to be a spot where they trade down a little, but if not, and they pick here, they're going to go with edge rusher. What's his name? Pierce. Let's see here.
James Pierce Jr.
Yeah. Pierce. They're going to go with James Pierce. And they're going to go ahead and solidify the defensive pass rush. But in my opinion, I think this is a good spot for them to trade down. There are some other needs, but from a value standpoint, you're going to be reaching mightily for who you really want right here. So they're going to go with another need, and that's getting some pressure on opposing quarterbacks in the division.
All right. So we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think that they are a prime candidate to trade down from the first because they only have 6 picks this year. However, say that the board falls this way. Oh, sorry, Richie, go ahead.
It's all good, man. I like Tampa Bay getting Jahad Campbell. I know Todd Bowles loves his linebackers, and Jahad Campbell is a unique type of player that could rush the quarterback at that position. I feel like you need to have a dynamic linebacker like him in a defense to succeed with Todd Bowles. And I think Jahad Campbell can go earlier, and I think he's falling right now. The fact that he's fell this far, it's a good value pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to go defense for them and take Jahad Campbell, the best interior linebacker in this draft.
He has fallen significantly on the board. As the Denver Broncos, who have made significant moves in free agency, many are saying that they have the best defense in the NFL right now. I think the Denver Broncos are going to grab another wide receiver for Bo Nix so that they can add some more young talent to help further his development here. And I think that they go with Luther Burden III. Many people were concerned about his pop-off or his drop-off in production in 2024 versus 2023. However, I have a really, really good feeling right here that Luther Burden all right, is going to have a wonderful season in Denver. Largely had to do with his lack of target share in 2024, but his advanced metrics are still there. Give me Luther Burden III to the Denver Broncos. Welcome to the squad.
And now,
Come on, T, do it.
The big pick of the night. The Pittsburgh Steelers are on the board. Aaron Rodgers has committed to 1 year with the team, but Mike Tomlin understands they do need a quarterback of the future. What will they do right here? They are going to run their ticket to the podium for Malachi Starks, safety out of Georgia. Mike Tomlin is going to continue to make sure that defense is on top of its game. And you pair Malachi with the secondary they already have, it's going to be a problem. And they could actually move on from some of the guys they have, making big money potentially as well, getting preparing for the future. This is a Mike Tomlin move all day. And trust me, this is the best move to make. Not just going to get a quarterback that hopefully, could turn out for the future. You got to go with the guarantee, and Malachi Starks is ready day one.
And so that safety tandem would be absolutely disgusting.
Crazy. Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting.
All right. The
All
LA
right, Richie.
Chargers are now on the clock. Now, the Chargers can go a lot of different directions. I think that with Harbaugh out there with Justin Herbert at the helm at quarterback, you try to argue, okay, what positions do they need, right? As a wide receiver, tight end, defensive line. They brought in Tyler Conklin at tight end, right? And he's coming from the Jets. I have a good idea of who Tyler Conklin is, but he's not that much of a big difference maker, right? So I'm going to take a difference maker at that position, going with the best receiving threat at the tight end spot, which is Colston Loveland. Now, some people have Loveland even ahead of Warren on their board. That's just because he's a pure receiver, but Warren is phenomenal blocking. That's the difference. So I think Loveland landing with Harbaugh makes sense as well because he's a Michigan Wolverine. So there's that connection. So I think that's a no-brainer. Colston Loveland will be a Charger. Remember I said it.
Remember you said it. All right. So we have the Green Bay Packers staring us in the face right now, right? So they need a wide receiver, they need an edge rusher, and they need a corner. They are running to the podium because, as many of us know, they have a gaping need for the cornerback position, and Jahdae Barron has fallen pretty significantly. I have a feeling the Green Bay Packers select arguably the best corner in the NFL draft, who has fallen all the way to them, falls right into their lap. Jahdae Barron, welcome to the Green Bay Packers. TD.
All right. Jahdae Barron is a Green Bay Packer, and Brian Flores is mad about it because he had his eyes set on that pick right there, one away and missed out. But you know what? He loves his interior defensive lineman, and this is going to be a value pick right where it belongs. They're going to go interior defensive line, Walter Nolan, to solidify the middle of the defense. It's going to be an excellent pick for the Minnesota Vikings.
Houston's on the clock, and I think this is the easiest pick for me. I think they need a left tackle after trading away Laramie Tunsil. You got Josh Simmons available and Kelvin Banks available. You can argue, flip your coin. Which one do you prefer? I'm going to go with Kelvin Banks Jr. To the Houston Texans. You got to get a tackle in this draft if you're Houston. You got to prioritize the offensive line for them. And I think Kelvin Banks is a really good pickup for them for value purposes and can start right away and be a long-term answer of protecting the blind side of CJ Stroud.
Very similar. So I'd say strategy for the LA Rams. You do have an aging right tackle in Rob Havenstein. He's currently 33 years old. And this gentleman, by the name of Josh Simmons, started off his collegiate career as a right tackle and then transitioned exclusively over to a left tackle. And as many of us know, so the Rams do still have Alaric Jackson on the left tackle side of things. I feel like you go with one of the most versatile tackles on the board that is remaining. Josh Simmons would be the pick here for me for the LA Rams.
All right. Well, Josh Simmons is gone, and the Baltimore Ravens are on the board. And the Baltimore Ravens are going to have the first reach in the draft. It's not reaching by much, but the first interior offensive lineman will go off the board. And I have Tyler Booker, guard out of Alabama, going to the Ravens to make sure that they continue to solidify the O-line, give Lamar time, and open up lanes for Derrick Henry to try to make a Super Bowl run. Tyler Booker, day one starter.
Tyler Booker. Starter. A day one starter
over their 2 starting guards.
That's right. Time to move on, Richie.
It's time to move
Save
on.
Some money, some off-season moves.
Man, you're ruining our entire draft. Listen, man, the Detroit Lions coming up. You know, I think that they can go in a lot of different directions. You know, they can get Matthew Golden, who I think would fit perfectly with what they're doing. The speedster from Texas, you know, add him in with Amon-Ra St. Brown, with Jamison Williams and the boys. I think that will be a great pickup for them as well. I think they can also go edge rusher here, which I'm going to go. Mikael Williams from Georgia, I think, can come in there and fill in. A lot of injuries on that defensive line last year. Aiden Hutchinson's going to come back. I think Williams, the edge rusher from Georgia, would make a lot of sense for them to come out there and add to their defense.
Oh, man, we have the Washington Commanders on the board, 29th overall. And I got to tell you what, Golden looks interesting. So does Siobhan Revel. However, what they need is an edge rusher. And this player, I'm surprised he has fallen because on several mock drafts, he has been going very, very high. Give me Shamar Stewart, edge rusher out of Texas A&M, going straight over to the Washington Commanders. Solid Senior Bowl performance. We saw that in person. Welcome to the Commanders. All right, TD.
All right, I'm going to make a pick here, Dan, but I want you to double back and tell me what you think you guys would do here. But the Buffalo Bills, obviously, the offense is going to be led by Josh Allen. You can never have enough weapons. I think that they still are in the market for a wide receiver potentially. But then you look at the defensive side of the football. You're young. You still have some holes. How do you feel about Siobhan Revel right here to the Buffalo Bills? I know the average draft pick is around 48, but I think this is a good fit for Buffalo. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, so I do. He tore his ACL in September. So more than likely he is going to be placed on the PUP list at the beginning of the season, which is like 110% fine. He has visited with the Buffalo Bills. They have been doing a lot of due diligence with this guy. And they've also, like Trey Amos as well. He is a corner out of so with this draft, I would probably go with either of those two. Some people might be angry with me that I am passing on Matthew Golden because we do need a wide receiver that can create vertical separation. But I'd probably be okay with Siobhan Revel and or Trey Amos here.
Pass on Xavier Worthy last
year. A healthy Revel is better than Amos, in my opinion, though. That's just my opinion, but yeah. So what go ahead and make the pick though for your team.
Siobhan Revel, welcome to the Buffalo Bills.
They're winning 7 games now, y'all. We good.
All right, the Kansas City Chiefs now. Wow. Where will they go? I think the Kansas City Chiefs can go in a lot of different directions. I think offensive line. What?
We missed it. So Buffalo picked 30 and Kansas City 31st. That'll probably be flip-flop. They'll trade the pick.
True. And they're probably draft Matthew Golden from Texas and get him out there. Matthew Golden is interesting for Kansas City, though. Xavier Worthy's teammate from Texas. But I feel like he's just another they're not the same, Xavier Worthy, Matthew Golden, but I feel like that would be a little bit crazy. I don't know if Josh Connerly Jr. would be worth a first-round pick, but I'll definitely consider that where the Kansas City Chiefs are at right now. You want Joe Thuney to stay put at left guard, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, did the Chiefs bring in a left tackle from in this offseason? Because our left tackle right now is who exactly?
They still need a tackle.
They still need a left tackle, correct?
Yeah.
What
a lot of people don't realize that on the back end of the first round, a lot of these teams will get a player that they're already solidified, but the contracts say that one of those big time players already on the team got to go next year. They have to go from a contract standpoint. So teams like this that's already loaded, they get that next guy for the future.
Oh, yeah, and Joe Thuney was traded, which I completely forgot about as well. Joe Thuney's now a Chicago Bear. which I even forgot about. So that makes me even realize they need offensive line more, but they are going to go with Josh Connerly Jr.
And Dan, close us out.
And the last pick of the NFL draft, the Philadelphia Eagles will select Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of Texas.
Oh, man.
Damn. Fell all the way to the board, man. It's definitely
you know how
different.
huge that is for the Eagles.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Would be insane, folks. Have some reaches here. We are going to be posting this. And so I could imagine that. So there will be some gripes from particular fan bases here. However, however, it was indeed a hell of a time. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Fourth and Forever, a Roundtable Sports daily NFL news show. Now, we ask, say that you are just tuning in for the first time, you have just discovered us. Please make sure that when you subscribe to the channel, you turn on bell notifications, because we really want to see you guys active in the live chat. Like, we try and do whatever we possibly can to be as engaged with the audience as humanly possible. And then if you are listening on Apple Podcasts and or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts, if you enjoy the show, please do us a favor and leave a rating and review, and also consider coming to YouTube so you can be a part of our live chat community. A couple of super chats that we have to get to right here. Dan, you know why I'm here. Lakers in 5. Someone says, we full screen.
Lakers in 5. Get out of here, Tony.
You're such a LeBron hater, bro. It's crazy.
There you go.
It's not about LeBron. It's Celtics in 4.
Shout out to that. We have Awesome LA. What's good, my people? Working, watching the podcast. Love that, Awesome LA.
Oh, no, he's working out.
Hope all is well.
He's working out while watching the podcast.
He's working out. Dude, he's getting them gains. I appreciate that. We have JD the Great. He came in a member for 2 months. Can we start the season before we put the Dolphins in the basement? Fins up no matter what. Oh, man. He's ready for it. Hey, listen, he is a beacon of positivity, and I appreciate that. Richie, what would you like to say to the audience before we send them off?
Folks, I got a special show today. If you guys want to come through and support your boy, I got a special live studio show with my friend Matt O'Leary. And the reason why this is unique and special, Matt O'Leary is actually coming to my hometown. Well, not my hometown, where I live now. And we're going into a studio, a podcast studio, to do an in-studio Jets Media podcast. It's going to be really fun. I would love to have you guys interact with us in the live chat. The link is, of course, on Jets Media's YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the chat for those that are interested. Of course, Jets Nation, come support your boy. But this is going to be really cool. I've never done this before. Go to a podcast studio to record with a good friend of mine. It's going to be live as well, so go support us. That's going to be in 2 hours at 5 p.m. EST, and we appreciate you guys tuning in, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, man. Shoot on over and show Richie some love. TD, what do you got?
Y'all punch that like button. We're going to drop this mock draft on all the socials. Make sure you share it. Let everybody know Roundtable Sports have dropped an official first round mock draft. And make sure you go check out Richie in 2 hours. I can't wait to see the show. This should be very interesting. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. And we'll see you soon.
Folks, we appreciate you so much for tuning in to another edition of Fourth and Forever. And we will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place.
Peace.